as we always do, we're going to start off by talking some chalk. At the quarterback position, there are two main options, in my opinion, that are going to come in as really highly owned. And that's going to be Kyler Murray as the highest owned quarterback. And then Joe Burrow, I think, at the low range, 5,500 on DraftKings, is going to be somebody that a lot of people go to as a way to save salary. How do you feel about these two players?
Yeah, I think these are the two clear-cut options for week 7. Obviously, Kyler Murray is a phenomenal fantasy quarterback, and I think he is the clear-cut pay-up option this week at 7,100. Provides you excellent rushing upside. He scored a rushing touchdown in every game but one this year, so he's a phenomenal play going up against a Seahawks defense that gets absolutely torched by anybody that they face. And then Joe Burrow at 5,500, I think, is in play at home against the Browns defense that has quietly been one of the worst defenses in terms of passing yards allowed, and Joe Burrow has a floor of 16 points pretty much in the 2020 season so far, with one dud game against the Ravens when he went into Baltimore and only had 6 points. But if you're looking at a floor of 16 for Joe Burrow at 5,500 on DraftKings, I think that he is one of the better pay down quarterback options, and he should garner ownership in week 7.
Agreed. I mean, I think it's almost understated how impressive Joe Burrow has been to start his NFL career, at least statistically. You know, he's thrown for 300 passing yards in 4 of his first 6 NFL games. I mean, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. I mean, the touchdowns haven't quite been there, only averaging 1 touchdown per week, but just due to, you know, how fast the Bengals play and the amount of attempts that Burrow is getting off in these games, I think that he has a pretty high floor at an affordable price tag, and he's getting a nice decent discount due to having pretty difficult back-to-back road matchups against Baltimore and Indianapolis over the last 2 weeks. So I think it's a great bounce back spot for Joe Burrow. But to me, Kyler Murray is going to be a priority this week. I think he is well worth the salary to get up to him at 7,100. And you talked about how Seattle has been getting, you know, basically eviscerated by everybody they've played on the other side of the ball. They're allowing the 6th most rushing yards to quarterback per game, 3rd most rushing touchdowns to quarterback per game, and 2nd most fantasy points to quarterbacks per game. Kyler's floor has been 24 points this year, no games under 24, and his rushing stats are just, they're phenomenal. He's the best rushing quarterback in the NFL this year, averaging 8.5 attempts per game. His 16-game rushing pace would be 136 attempts for 986 yards, right on that 1,000-yard rushing baseline. 6 rushing touchdowns through the first 6 games, only 1 game without a rushing touchdown. I mean, to me, he is extremely safe with a really high ceiling and a spot going against Seattle that can push this game to be an absolute shootout. And coming off of a week where he only had a 37.5 completion percentage, you know, I think that rebounds. He had no less than a 65% completion percentage in any of the other games that the Cardinals played this year. So Kyler Murray, the best quarterback play on the board pretty easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I'm probably going to make it a point to fit him in my cash lineup this week. He's just an outstanding play in that price range. So I love Kyler Murray as well.
In terms